Mimi kwa majina naitwa Monica and natoka Murang'a County. Kazini ni kwa Lebanon.
I went to Lebanon for the first time in 2012 because I wanted to make my life better. From the day I signed the contract with the agent, she kept all my documents for me. She only handed them over at the airport when I was leaving for Lebanon. I arrived in Beirut at midnight. I was taken to a room filled with other women. They were sleeping on the floor. The room was heavily guarded. Even when you want to go to the toilet, we had to be escorted by a policeman. I was fetched the next day at midday. I was so hungry and tired. A whole night sleeping on the floor, it was such torture. But despite all this, the first thing my boss did was to take my documents and then take me for a medical test. After we got home, I was forced to sign another contract in a language that I didn't understand. It was in Arabic, and I never used to speak or understand Arabic. I started working. I didn't get a day off. I worked for long hours. I was not supposed to be seen standing or resting. She never wanted to see me free. I would go to bed past 2 a.m. and wake up by 6 a.m. All the days were the same because I worked all the way through. I was allowed to call home only once per month and not for more than 3 minutes. This was not enough to talk to my daughter and my mother. I used to get frequent headaches, but my boss would say, "Monica, you're growing too fat. You need to cut down on your food intake." I was given only a cup of coffee in the morning, and the only meal for the whole day was at 4 p.m. And this meal was the remains of food after the family had eaten. My contract had been completely violated. I was suffering. I decided to terminate my contract after 1 year and 3 months. But the boss told me if I terminated the contract, I would have to pay her $2,000. I didn't have that kind of money, so I had to persevere. With time, I was not able to work as expected. Then they took me to a different home. In the new home, they started beating me up. I started falling sick again, but she fed me with painkillers. I was in fact completely addicted. Every day, I had to take 2 to 3 tablets. I had no peace in that home. Always the boss was shouting and commanding me around and with violence. One day, I escaped from my boss when we were at the supermarket. That is when I bought a calling card and called the consulate to report that I was being mistreated. I gave details of my agent in Lebanon so that she could be contacted to help me. Instead of helping me, the agent called my boss and reported me. I was given a thorough beating, a beating that I had never experienced before. The agent came to my boss' home later that day. She also beat me up. That's when I decided to leave. I went to the Kenyan consulate. I spent the whole night there. The consulate, on the other hand, asked me to persevere, and my boss also promised to treat me better if I returned to work to complete my 3-year contract, which initially was only 2 years. The agreement was that I would get paid $200 per month, but she used to pay me only $100 per month. When I insisted on leaving, the agent beat me up again at the airport. My employer also came to the airport, but she refused to give me back the money she used to deduct from my monthly salary. Finally, I was able to return to Kenya. After a few months, I returned to Lebanon, again with the hope that I would get a good boss. I tried my luck since I didn't have a job in Kenya. Upon returning to Lebanon, I started working for a home with a 54-year-old man and his elderly mother. The man started harassing me sexually. When I was asleep at night, the man would come and force himself on me. He would put his heavy body on my body, and I had to throw him down. But he was huge and very tall. I would wake up to find someone very heavy on top trying to penetrate me. So I would push him, but when he gets up, he starts beating me. It went on like that for a long time. When I reported him, I was told, you have children in Kenya, so why not do with him what he wants? The only woman he sees in this house is you, so why not? You are not a virgin, so just do it. That is what his older brother, who was the main boss, told me. At one time, he almost threw me off the balcony from the 7th floor. He had come from my room and, as usual, demanded for sex. And after I refused, he rained blows on me. I went out running towards the balcony, thinking he would leave me alone. But he pushed me. But I was able to escape his grip. I ran to the kitchen and picked up a knife. That is when he backed off and called his elder brother. I had to escape. I packed my clothes in rubbish bags and lied that I was going to take the rubbish out. After escaping, I couldn't get proper jobs because I had no papers. To get them, my boss demanded for $2,000, which I didn't even have. I worked at different places, including a plastics company. Sexual harassment was the norm. Anything could happen to you anytime. You could get raped, and you have nowhere to report this because you have no papers. So you stay running from police and running away from rapists and hiding from your former boss because they lied that you stole from them. If you get caught, you go straight to jail. This year in September, I got an opportunity to return home together with many other women. I think we were about 100 of us who were also stranded without travel documents. I was happy to be back home, but I tell you, I have still not recovered from the shock of what my family did. The family that once loved me when I could send money rejected me. I didn't have money, and then I had nowhere to live. I have started from the scratch, but this is better than the suffering I faced in Lebanon. I don't want to ever go back there again.
So me, I came back to nothing, but it's okay.